Committee, Cochrane.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. The processing vegetable sector is extremely important to the economy of southwestern Ontario and to the province. And each year at this time, there's a negotiation that goes on between the processors and the farmers, who are represented. The farmers are represented by the Ontario Processing Vegetable Growers, and they are a duly elected board. They represent their members. They hold annual meetings. I checked their auditor report, and it was clean. And these negotiations sometimes can be tough, as all negotiations are. And sometimes they end up in arbitration, as often negotiations do. But that's the spirit of negotiations. But what happened on Friday is the powers of the board were stripped. The minister removed the board. Our question is that in the best long-term interest of a sector that's vital to the Ontario agricultural economy?
Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs.
Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the member from Timiskaming Cochrane for his question this morning. Mr. Speaker, as Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, one of the most difficult questions I've had to deal with and make a decision on was last Friday. We made a decision to appoint a very distinguished public servant in the province of Ontario, the Honourable Albert Buchanan, to be a trustee. Mr. Speaker,
Finish, please.
Mr. Speaker, it was clear to me that an impasse had been reached by the processed vegetable growers of the province of Ontario, the processors, that we had to make a decision so that we would not lose the 2017 crop. This would impact farmers, impact jobs, and we wanted to sustain regulatory marketing province of Ontario.
Thank you.
That's the decision we made for farmers and
Thank you. Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, the important part of that response is the minister made the decision. The made the decision to strip the powers of the representatives of the OPVG, the Ontario Processing Vegetable Growers, who actually were elected by their members to do those negotiations. Yep. I'm getting emails from vegetable growers wondering where they fit in this, because a public meeting was held where questions from the floor weren't allowed, only to be read. So they're wondering, they have millions of dollars also invested. Yep. And where do the farmers fit in this equation? Because they certainly weren't part of the decision to strip the powers of their board. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thank the member for a supplementary question, and I provided him and the critic for the opposition the courtesy to call them personally, to give them the opportunity to have detailed briefings on this matter.
Finish, please.
Speaker, I want to reference the honourable member a letter that was sent to me by the Ontario Processed Vegetable Growers on February 22nd, 2017, when they told me that both sides had reached an impasse. They're asking me to take action, and we took the right action last Friday, Mr. Speaker.